Hi, everyone, and welcome to Shift Live, the Santorini Chronicles. So excited to be here, and we're glad you are here today. So we'll be starting and in a minute. So while you settle it, go ahead and drop your name and where you're joining from in the chat. So we love seeing who's in the room. And just so you know, if you've been looking for your next level, we'll also be sharing how to go deeper at the end of today's session. So stay with us all the way through. All right. Hi, everybody. So, welcome to Shift Live, the Santorini Chronicles. So, I'm Mary Chris, and I'm really glad you're here with us today. So, before we begin, just a few quick housekeeping notes so you can get most out of this session. So, first, hi, Ola. All right. Hi. Okay. So, I love seeing who's in the room. So, thank you so much. So, before we begin, just a few quick housekeeping notes. So, first, if you can turn on your video, this is a working session, not just a webinar. We love seeing you guys here. And second, use the chat actively throughout this session. Coach Olisie will be reading and responding. And lastly, please have something to write with. We will be doing a live diagnostic together. All right. So also the replay will be available on our YouTube channel. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it when it drops. All right. Okay. Hi, I'm Awiwi from Canada. Hi, Elizabeth, all the way from UK. Hello. So again, don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything when it drops. Thank you so much. And before I bring in our coach Olivier, I want to quickly make sure you know what's available to you inside Shift to and to Legacy. So Shift Live, what you're in right now is our free monthly masterclass every fourth Wednesday of the month. So we also have our Shift newsletter, the Legacy Conversation, where we go deeper in written form, the diagnostic audit, free entry point to understand your fracture. Plus, you also get a free book written by Coach Olivier. So that is the Shift into Legacy, the mandate book, prophetic prayers for the high achieving woman just like you, who wants to grow in depth, expand her territory, and increase her impact this year. So the Shift Intensive, the 4th week live cohort starting this May 4, is your next level, and we are enrolling right now. So the Shift into Legacy Institute, which has our labs, the Healing Lab, the Clarity Lab, Capacity Lab, and our intervention programs, the full school structure launching across this year, 2026. So you can learn more about that in our institute and all our programs at shiftintolegacy.com/institute. And also enrollment for that actually closes in just a few days. So if that's something you've been considering today, will help you make that decision clearly. And all of this fits within the Shift into Legacy Institute, our full ecosystem of labs and programs rolling out across this year. So before I bring Coach Olicia in, I want to take a moment to hear from you because this session is built around you, not at you. So I need to know who is in the room. So I have questions here and I would love to hear from you. Feel free to share your answers in our comments or in the message. So my first question is, why are you here today? Like what made you show up for this specific session? All right. Hi, Ajibola. Okay, glad to know you're here because about this experience from Santorini. So glad to hear. Yeah, we're all here for fun. You're right. Okay. So my question question for you, this is the second question. What is the one thing that you are hoping to walk away with today? Like be specific if you can. Okay, for me, I'm here to learn and absorb from my captain. Glad to know that. Okay. And my second question, what is one thing that you're hoping to walk away with today? If you can be more specific, that's perfect. And my third question, okay. Yeah, I'm hoping to walk away with some key legacy specific action steps. That's right. We're all wanted to, walk away with something. And that's really love to know from me. And my last question, on a scale of 1 to 10, how clear are you right now on what is actually holding you back from where you want to be? Like drop your number in the chat. All right. Yeah, I'm seeing numbers now. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of clarity gaps in the chat and a lot of women who know they are capable of more but cannot quite name what is in the way. So, Coach Olivier, that is exactly who is in the room. So, I will bring our coach for today up for shortly now. So, let's welcome her in the chat and celebrate her for being so generous with her time today and sharing deep insights with us in here in Santorini Chronicles, especially for this masterclass.
Everybody, can you hear me? Please confirm if you can hear me well. Hello,
Yes.
hello. You can hear me? I know Mary Chris will be
Yes,
my.
we can.
Okay, awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you, Coach
confirming.
Alicia.
Alrighty. Hi, people. I can see my Santorini crew people in the chat. Exciting. Yeah, I know it's not what's that word now? For me, I was like, do we need to do a Santorini masterclass? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And as I was thinking about it more and more and more, and even coming into today and all of that, I just kept saying to myself, yeah, we definitely need to do a Santorini masterclass because there is so much that Santorini has to offer us. I'm telling you, Santorini still is offering us so much wisdom, so much knowledge, and I'm totally excited about that. Thank you for coming in today. I know that for some people, for some of us, if you live in my part of the world, if you live in North America, it is in the middle of your day. Okay. So maybe it's lunchtime for you. Maybe it's not lunchtime for you, but it's the middle of your day. And for those of us in the UK or in Africa, around that area, I know that it's evening for you. Maybe you should be attending to your family. So thank you. Thank you for coming in here today. Thank you for joining us. I'm excited that you are in the room today. All right. So before we get started, before I go into the all the Santorini gist and everything and all of that, I want to remind you that this is the working session, as Marie Chris said earlier. I hope you have your pen. I hope you have your notebook, your journal, whatever, or you have your phone notes, something to write with, because we are going to be learning together. You're going to be taking notes. We're going to be sharing some of my biggest lessons from Santorini. And like I said before, if you've been watching some of our posts on social media, you know that we're doing this across the whole year. Like Santorini, I have 23 pages of notes from Santorini. Okay. So just imagine that I cannot teach all of that. I can't talk about all of that in one session. So I have all of that to share with you. And we're going to be doing this once a month throughout the year up until December. All right. So we are all in here for a great ride. Okay. And before we get started, I just want to give you a backdrop around the whole Santorini experience. So we went in March for the VIP coaching retreat with DDK. And when we got into Santorini, when we flew into Santorini, we got there in the evening. So it was already dark. By the time we left the airport, it was dark. And I've been flying for hours. Okay. My travel partner is here in the room, and we have been traveling for days. And I was waiting just for the next day to be able to see this Santorini that we've heard so much about. All right, because it was dark. I couldn't see anything. It was dark. And we got to the hotel. I was like, yes, in the morning, let's do this. We're going to go for a walk. We are going to, just enjoy and explore the white buildings. Okay. And then, of course, as we took a walk, it's a very interesting terrain. So you go uphill a lot as you're walking. I'm starting to see those white buildings that we had heard so much about. They were stacked on the cliffs, right? And the first thing I was thinking about was how is this, how are these buildings standing on the edge of a cliff? Because that's what Santorini is. Santorini, I don't know if you know the history of Santorini, but Santorini is basically an island that sits on the caldera. Okay, caldera is a large volcanic crater after a volcanic eruption has happened. So it's basically sitting on this eruption that has happened in the past. And I'm like, how does this place look like this? Right? So what we have in Santorini, what the island is right now is the residue of an eruption that happened centuries ago. And what we have left is the rim. So the whole of Santorini is basically built on the edge. And if you're driving through the roads, which we did, a few times there, it's like you're driving around a cliff. And the Greeks built on that edge. They built on top of that destruction. They built on top of what fell completely apart, right? And believe me, that is one of the most iconic places on the earth. They have millions of people coming into Santorini every single year. So what should have been failure? That's what we should have seen, right? But that's not what happened. It wasn't failure. It was an opportunity for them to showcase their culture, to showcase the beauty and everything. And at some points, you're right, at some specific points in their journey, they started to say, how can we make beauty out of what looks like ruins? And that's what today is really about. For me, my journey to Santorini wasn't really much for inspiration. I went there because I could see that um, I needed more in my own life. And that's what I want for you in this room as well. So before we go into the precision, we're talking about unlocking the precision code today. Before we go into that, I want to talk to you about three things, and I've been sharing it across my social media, in the last few days. Three things that I know for sure that I have seen happen in my own life that are very important about this year. And those three things are really crucial for us if we are going to make a success and make a not just a successful year, but have a significantly amazing year. We have to note these three things. One is convergence, right? And when we talk about convergence, you're going to see yourself, if few of the things that you've been doing in the last few years, a lot of unfinished transitions from the last 3 to 5 years of your life are arriving at the same time. Things you started off maybe 5 years ago, things you walked away from, things that looked like you're never ever going to go back to them, the things that you were promised, the things that you were healing, whatever. A lot of those things are going to be coming together this year for you. And it could feel like it could be overwhelming because everything is kind of coming together at the same time. But I don't want you to think about it as overwhelming. I want you to think about it as God is converging things in your favor. And when that kind of thing is happening, what you should be doing is getting more clarity, asking deeper questions. Why? What is happening? What is happening here? How can I learn from this convergence? And the second thing that we see is the collapse of the old equilibrium. So the operating system that you had in 2021 is not going to work in 2026. So it's time to upgrade your OS. I don't know how many of us are iPhone users here, but you know, it's always asking us to upgrade something. There's one new one, there's one new operating system. And I'm like, okay, what's new? I don't see anything different here. But the systems, the structures, and the rhythms, all those relational arrangements you had in the past, the ways of working that you were using in the past that you're used to, are not going to work the same way. They are being tested this year. Those things are going to experience a testing. It's not because you have done anything wrong. So if those things are already happening for you, you're like, okay, what's happening here? I want you to know it's not because you've done something wrong. It's because there is a new season. The seasons have shifted. And the things I held you before that were working are not going to work anymore. Right? Those things were built for who you were in the past. Now you have to change. You have to upgrade your operating system. And the year is requiring you to build for the woman that you're becoming. And you can't do the things that she used to do in 2021 and hope that it will still work in 2026. And the third thing is the most important thing. Clarity and structure have become currencies. So a woman who is scattered, who is misaligned, who is building on a faulty foundation, you're going to see that this year feels like pressure for you. It's going to feel heavy because you haven't done the work that you should have done in the past. Because that weight that is coming, the beautiful way that is coming, that should accelerate you, that should move you forward, should propel you forward, is going to come and it has nowhere to land because the foundation that you have been building on has been faulty. So if you are a woman in the room who is listening to me, you're watching the replay, you're catching it live, whatever the case may be, I want you to know that the pressure that you may feel this year, if you just make a few adjustments, get clarity, get the answers you need, you are going to find that the year is going to push you forward. So the one that is clear, that is structurally sound, that has built on a good foundation, the one that is precisely aiming at the right thing, that's the woman that's going to enjoy 2026. Because everything converging will now be able to converge in the right direction. All right. And if what I'm saying in the room, if it's resonating with you, I want to know. I want to see if you're also experiencing the same thing. If you are finding that some of the things that I've said, you're experiencing them in your life, you're seeing that, truly, 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 you've seen converging happening. You've seen shifts happen. You've seen that things that used to work are no longer working. And now you find that you're having to make some changes in your life, right? If that is you, I want to hear from you. All right. Okay. So let's talk about precision for a little bit because we're talking about unlocking the precision code. What does that even mean? So when we talk about precision, I don't want you to think about it like, oh, perfection. Everything has to be perfect and all of that and everything like that. I want you to think of precision as accuracy. All right. Santorini is sitting on the caldera. I talked about the collapsed volcano. And when you look at those white buildings, I do have a picture somewhere. Let me share that picture with you first, and then so I can show you kind of what I'm saying. Look at this picture. You can see what I was talking about, the edge of the cliff. That's where Santorini is built. On the edge of a cliff. So when you look at those white buildings and the blue ceiling or roof or whatever, you know, it's built on top of what is broken. But even though it's broken, it's still beautiful. The most beautiful things sometimes can be built on faulty foundations. And people are looking at you and saying, wow, 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 wow. Everything is so good with her. She's having a great time. Oh, she's acing it. She's doing amazing. She's doing all of those things. But it's important that we are able to name the right thing. The precision we're talking about is being able to name the thing that is either wrong, that is working well for you, the right language you have for it, and how are you going to respond based on what the year is bringing to you. So most of the frustration that you see that a lot of people are carrying, that maybe you are even carrying, is not just a capacity problem sometimes. It is precision. Sometimes you don't know what the problem is. How are you going to fix it? How are you going to treat it? You're doing all the hard work, you're putting in all the labor, but you are working and your ladder is leaning against the wrong wall, or you're working on the wrong diagnosis. All right. So one thing that Greece taught me when I was in Santorini about that is that the Greek way of thinking, that thought leadership that 25 centuries of the Greek have built around their own ideas and all of that, it is part of what we are supposed to take from this year. That understanding of who you are, the precision around who you are, your own self. Because the Greek people, they had all their thought leadership and they took that thought leadership and they built structure around it. And years after, we are talking about Greece. Years after, there's civilization that is still happening there. Years after, even though a place like Santorini that has experienced eruption is still standing, and millions of people are flocking there every year. That thought leadership and building a structure around it is what allowed them to still be standing today. There are two people, in Greek history. I don't know if you've done philosophy. I mean, when I was in school and I said philosophy, I was like, what are we even doing? What are we doing here? I don't like philosophy, you know. But I learned a lot from just thinking about it since I came back, and I've just been pondering on Greece and all those things. And I was thinking um about the philosophers that I know that I've heard about before. I thought about, oh, we have Aristotle, we have Socrates, at least the ones that I remember. And I was thinking about their lives and some of the things that they did. And something that I found that was very profound is that Socrates didn't write a single word. He didn't write any word. Most of the things that we know about Socrates actually come from other people. And I was like, huh? Really? And it was primarily Plato, right? Who sat at his feet and recorded his conversations. So even though he was speaking, he didn't build any architecture around his things. Right. We just ask probing questions. People would think, but he didn't leave any systems. He left no framework for his work. He had no transferable method anybody could pick on, that or they could teach without him being in the room. His influence was entirely dependent on his ability to be in the room physically. But if you compare him to Aristotle, Aristotle was Plato's student, and Plato was Socrates' student. Can you imagine that? And Aristotle, that means he's two generations behind Socrates, but his work was rooted in architecture. He wrote everything down. He documented his work. He built systems. He created categories. That we're still using them to today. Frameworks, all methodologies, all those things. We're still using them today. Why? Because he documented them. He built an architecture around his work. He wasn't just about logic. He built a formal system of thinking. And today, people are referring to his work. People are referring to his frameworks for understanding things. In fact, they're still teaching some of his work in universities today. Why? Because he chose that he would build architecture around his work. If you are going to be a woman who is going to succeed and do well, extremely well, and step into the beauty that 2026 has to offer, then you have to be the kind of woman who builds architecture around your life. Right. Because if you have insights, if you have all these amazing, beautiful ideas in your mind, and you have no structure, you cannot multiply what is not structured. Nobody can take your framework, your method of thinking, and be able to apply it anywhere else. If you're not there in the room, then nothing gets done. You can't transfer it. You can't build with it. You can't do anything with it except you are physically in the room. And that is not the kind of people that we should be this year, right? So if I were to ask you right now, are you the kind of person who has insights, but you find that you cannot consistently execute? I want to hear yes or no from you. And of course, we're in the room, we're learning together. I don't think that it should be uncomfortable to share what is happening and all of that. So please share. Are you the kind of person who feels that I'm building, I have great ideas, but I find that I struggle when it comes to being able to um, build around my ideas and all of those things? Are you struggling with that? I want to know. And it helps me to be able to tell, how to best even support you through some of these master classes that we're going to be doing. All right. So the pattern that I see, that pattern between knowing and doing, between seeing and building and all of that is what we are going to be talking about today. All right. We're going to, like I said, is a working session. Okay. So bring out your pen, bring out your journal, because now we are getting to work. All right. And we are going to be naming some of these things. So let's talk about the precision stack for a little bit. 3 levels that every high achieving woman must develop in their lives if they are going to make a great deal out of 2026. The first one is Christian of identity. You cannot afford, this is not the year where you find that you're struggling with the sense of who you are. You have to be precise. You have to know what version of you needs to show up in 2026. You have to know where you are. You have to know what struggles you have. You have to know what you need to fix. This is not the year to be confused about your identity, about who you've been called to be. Because a lot of women are running their highest goals on a fractured identity, right? And what happens is that when our identity is not secure, we find ourselves constantly second guessing ourselves. We're constantly struggling with a sense of who we are. So even when you're supposed to show up powerfully, you find that you're not able to show up as powerfully as you should. The second level is the position of assignment. So it's not just enough to know what you are supposed to do generally, but this is the year to be more specific, to drill down into what you're supposed to do, not just generally, but for this season of your life. What should you be doing? What should your focus be on? What should your attention be on? So that you don't waste energy working on things that are not for the year or things that the time has already passed. Remember, we talked about the fact that this is the year to upgrade your operating system. And then the third level is precision of execution. Not just knowing what to do, but what to do next. What to do first. What should I be focusing my energy on? What should I stop doing altogether? What doesn't serve me in my current season? And I find that a lot of when it comes to execution for a lot of people, a lot of people just struggle with, okay, no, I know what I should be doing, but how? How do I even get started? Which one should I be doing first? Which one, if I pay attention to right now, will make all the difference for me going forward into the rest of the year? And if you're able to crack that code, you're going to find that it will make all the difference for you. All right. So these are the 9 gaps that we talk about here at Shifting to Legacy. These 9 fracture points is when you hear fracture, you're like, oh, I don't have a fracture. Mm-hmm. We'll figure out whether or not you do have or whether you don't have. All right. And these are the 9 structural misalignments that are running beneath the surface of your productivity. If you are going to be at the highest level of productivity you can be, become who you're supposed to be, become the person that God has called you to be, especially for this year and even the decade to come, you have to examine if you are struggling with any of these 9 fracture points and see what comes out of your answers. So if you have your pen, if you have your journal, let's get to it. All right, the first frame that we are going to be looking at when it comes to the fracture is the identity fracture. All right. Something that I found that was very profound, and I was just thinking about Greece again and all of that, is the fact that if you think about the ancient Greeks, they built altars to, if you read in the Bible, you actually find that in scripture. It says they built an altar to an unknown God, right? And I was like, interesting. But that is what is happening for a lot of us. We are we are built an altar to an unknown God. What does that mean? A lot of us see other people doing things, oh, maybe that's a good idea. You're not operating from a strong sense of identity about who you are and how you should operate. Your sense of self is literally performance dependent. You're just going, moving, but not from a place of understanding your true identity. And what happens is the moment that your results are not giving what they should give, you put in so much work, so much energy into your work. The moment you don't see the result you expect to see, what happens? You start to feel unsettled because you are working from a performance driven lens, not from a place of a true sense of identity. So, what is happening is that instead of working from who you are, you're only doing things that people can see on the outside, but not from a place of a settled identity. So, what happens? You find that you struggle. Only results, it's only when results are you're acing your result. That's when you feel happy. You're sad if things don't go well. It's like a yo-yo. The results are not showing up. You don't believe in yourself anymore, right? And that's kind of one of the forms of identity structure, fracture, right? And so when it comes to identity fracture, how is it showing up in your life right now? And I want you to start to think about it very well. How is it showing up in my life right now? The second one is assignment fracture. Some of us know why we are here on earth. You know why I know my why. I know why I'm here and all of that. But you don't know how you're going to carry out that why in a way that is tangible and we can see. If you think about Santorini as an island, as a beautiful place that millions of people come to every year, it didn't become iconic by trying to be more. Okay, it stayed small. That's something we learned when we were there. It was that this is a city that does not scale. They're not trying to scale. They're not even making an effort to scale. And I'll just think to myself, these people are so arrogant. You know, they're not even trying to scale. They're not even trying to change anything. They stay the way they are. And that's why people keep going there because they have stayed the way that they are. All right? They don't want to change. And for them, they don't care. If you want to come, come. In fact, you're coming because of how they are. So I want you to see your specificity not as a limitation, but as a strength, right? It is the God given gift that God has put in your inside that will help you to become iconic in your world as well. That will help you to become epic. There is a part of you, there is something within you, there's a gifting that you have in you that will make all the difference for how you show up in your world. And so don't try to be what you are not, right? So this woman who has an assignment fracture, she has a lot of giftings, and so because of that, she struggles with being able to name her specific outlets. How should I, who is gifted in all these amazing things, how should I show up in my world? What is my specific domain? Where is my domain that I have been given lordship over on the earth? So she's doing all these great, amazing things, but guess what is happening? They are not necessarily her own things. So she feels misaligned. I'm like, you're doing so much good work and everybody's praising you. You're doing amazing. But guess what? You don't feel aligned because even though you're doing a lot of great things, they are not the things that are meant for you. You're not doing your own work, right? You are not doing your own work. So you should see your specificity as strength. Thank you, Quinta. That is amazing. Yeah, absolutely. And for me, it says we cannot be confused about our identity. That was when I was talking about identity fracture. It is too costly. I tell you that. Clarity fracture. Greece. They talk about Aristotle and Socrates and all the philosophers and all the amazing thought leadership that happened in Greece. Greece gave the world disciplined thought. Okay? Ideas, structured ideas. And up until today, we are still talking about their ideas. And so if for someone who is struggling with clarity fracture, she will find that she has a vision, but it's too broad to execute. She can't prioritize because everything feels equally important to her. She's always moving, but not in a clear direction. Right. She has the revelation. She knows what God is saying to her. She knows all these amazing things, but she doesn't have the architecture to make it work in her life. Clarity is not just knowing what to do. Part of clarity is also knowing how to do it. Right? So everything, like from me saying, everything feels equally important. Everything feels like it is, we should be doing it because she hasn't sat with herself to think deeper into who she is, into who she's been called to be, and how she shows up in her world. So she knows all these amazing things. She just struggles with translating some of these things into a plan. All right? And then the next one is the capacity fracture. Hmm. A lot of us struggle here. I find this to be the most significant. If I mean, for a lot of women that I've coached, this is a very, very, very very common fracture capacity, right? Some of us have amazing ideas. You have great things you're doing and all of that, but you know that you need to move to your next level. But you find that you have hit a ceiling because you haven't grown your capacity, your current structure, your current energy management, your current time management is not helping you to build who you're supposed to be. And I was talking about earlier about how you're operating a 2026 vision using an old OS, okay, operating system. So you're using a 2020 infrastructure to carry a 2026 dream. What happens? It will collapse under the weight. You will not even be able to scale it because your capacity is too small. Think of pouring, you know, and I saw this video one day where someone was trying to pour something from a larger container into a smaller one. And I was looking at the person as they were pouring it. And I was just telling to myself, this container is so huge. He has like an endless amount of liquid in it. But guess what? The container that this person has brought to receive it is so small. There's only so much you can do. There's only so much that you can be given. So if you're thinking about it, and ask yourself, the next level that I have in 2026, do I have the capacity within me to be able to accomplish the things that I'm supposed to accomplish? If you look at your current structure, the way you are living your life, your calendar, your schedule, your time, everything that is on your schedule right now, and everything that is on your plate right now, does it have enough room in it to be able to grow into that new version of yourself that you've been called to be? Right. Mm. The boundary fracture, you say yes to everything, overextended, overscheduled, yeah, over everything. Always saying yes to things that are not hard to even say yes to in the first place. Always saying yes to everyone. She's the Mrs. Nice. Everybody loves her because she's always saying yes to everyone. Always overextend herself. The things that belong to her, she doesn't pay attention to them because she's busy paying attention to the things that don't belong to her. And what is happening is that in doing that, she leaves no room in her own life to attend to the things that hers to pay attention to. So her energy is constantly leaking. She's always struggling because she's overextended. Something I noticed when we're in Greece is that Greece maintained contact without contamination. So even though people will come from all over the world, I mean, those of us in the room at the retreat ourselves, we're from different parts of the world. And we have people from Canada, people from the US, from the UK, from Nigeria, across continents, right? But guess what? Greece refuses to change for you. They don't want to change for anybody, right? And so a lot of us have to start to look at our lives and say, what boundaries do I need in 2026 that would protect what I am building from contamination, that will protect what I'm building from being eroded by other people's ideas. So if you're struggling with a boundary fracture, we are going to look at that a little bit as well. Okay, this one, relational fracture. No matter how much you want to be able to scale, if the room you are in is wrong, it is wrong. All right? The ceiling is there. If the room is a small room, it's a small room. You cannot extend it beyond what it is, except you are willing to do the work or breaking things down and rebuilding. A lot of us are struggling with the right relationships. And so, one of the things that is happening this year also in that disruption and all of that is that there will be a lot of relationships that are shifting. Some of them are going to be more important to you than they were before. Some of them are going to, you're going to find that some of them that were very important to you before just are not important anymore. Right? So, if your inner circle doesn't match where you're going, if you look at your life and you look at the relationships you have in your life and they don't look like where you're going, and it's time for you to actually start to look at them and say something is wrong here, right? This doesn't look like where I'm going. I need to make some of these adjustments. I need to change my circle. And when I say change your circle, I don't even mean, oh, you no longer talk to people in your life. No, no, no. I don't mean, oh, look at, I say this person not on my level. No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying you have to now know, discern who is important to your assignment in 2026, right? If you're surrounded by people that are not helping you carry what you're building, and you have to start to look at it and say, if this person stays with me, is this a sustainable relationship? Are we going in the same direction? Do we have a similar destination in mind? Otherwise, you have to check and you have to start to rename some of those relationships in your life. And the next one is the healing fracture. Some of us have gone through things, and those things are still there. You glossed over them. You didn't particularly deal with them. You're like, oh, I'm okay, I'm fine, and all that, but you're not fine because you can't build above what you have not been willing to look beneath. You can't build above what you have not been willing to look beneath. What does that mean? It means that a lot of us are trying to build. Think of when I was talking about Santorini and about how Santorini, as it is right now, is a result of a volcanic eruption. And that's what they built along the edge of the wall, right? Think about it in that way. But a lot of us are built on a waiting to happen volcanic eruption, right? But if you don't deal with it, if you don't process the pain, whether it's a pain of transition, you moved countries, you lost your very good friend in terms of they're no longer your friend, not that they even died or anything like that. Or you lost someone close to you, you're processing grief, you're processing betrayal, disappointments, all those things are there. You put your effort into something that at this stage will have yielded results by now. It didn't yield results. And so you're struggling with all of those unfinished business underneath, and you want to still build. You cannot build on top of a fractured foundation. If you do, let's even say you can build. You can, all right? But what will happen is that it will just be like Santorini one day where there's an eruption and everything split up. Right. So you have to ask yourself, is there anything in my life that is unhealed that I need to deal with? All right? And I'm laying this foundation that when we do the work, you'll be able to tell what is what. All right, the legacy fracture. Some of us are doing great. We're doing amazing at the work that we are doing. And the question is not about, oh, am I building good things? Oh, you're building good things. Can the thing you're building survive without you? That is legacy. Legacy is not when you're still in the room. Legacy is when you are not in the room. What imprint are you leaving behind? What things are you building that can become scalable, replicable, things that somebody can take your idea and reuse without you having to be in the room. All the things that we are growing, can they live without us? Are they sustainable? If something happened to you today, not that you're even sick, you travel, right? Or just want to take a day off. You can't. You are a slave to your own work, right? So remember we talked about Aristotle and Socrates. Aristotle's architecture and his thought leadership have survived and transcended centuries. Why? Because he built a structure around it. There's an architecture that you need to build with yourself that moves what you are producing right now to something that is sustainable, replicable. People can take your systems and frameworks and actually reuse, even when you're not in the room. That is building for legacy, right? And if you're a woman who is struggling with this is part of the things that we are talking about. All right? And then the last one is the execution fracture. This one is a big deal because I see a lot of people struggle here, right? It's not about willpower. You can desire it. Oh, I really want to do this. You can even wake up in the morning and say, I'm really going to do this. But guess what? Nothing's going to change. If you have no way to translate what you want to do into how you're going to actually get it done, the architecture around your work, the execution framework, how do you execute? How do you move from idea to reality in your life? A lot of the things that we see in the world today, where as a result of somebody's idea, oh, this is like a good idea. And then it happens. One thing that I learned when we were in Santorini is the fact that if you look at their buildings, you wouldn't see a lot of woodwork in their buildings. And they told us that, oh, it's so expensive. It's an island. We have to move everything out of the island to build. So it's really expensive to move things. So they just build with stones, right? Most of their houses, you won't see wooden framework holding them up. They built mostly with stones. And I just kept looking at it like these people, one stone at a time, one piece of material at a time, and then they build this beautiful thing that we see today. But a lot of us are struggling from that structural breakdown between your vision and your daily action. And see, even if you like be motivated, play motivation music, wake up in the morning, be gingered. Don't change anything. If you have no system that you have built in your life that can help you to actually show that vision in your daily calendar. When I look at your schedule every day, when I look at your calendar every day, does it reflect what you say your vision is? Can we see consistent efforts, action, moving forward toward your vision? Can we see it? If you don't see it, if you're always full of ideas, but we can't see a tangible result of all of your great ideas, it's a structure issue. And you have to examine that as well. All right? So let's go there. Of all the 9 that we've mentioned so far, which of these ones hit closest to home? Okay, so maybe your top 3, your top 2, your number, like this one. Which one of them? Which one of the 9 did you really, really struggle? Like, this one really hit. Execution, identity, legacy. Which one of them are you struggling with? I want to hear from you before we even do the diagnosis together. Which one of them are you struggling with? That you're like, this one is me. Is me. I want to hear from you. You can just put the number in the chats. 1 to 9. Number 1 is me. Number 1 was identity. And then we ended at execution. Okay. So the ones in between, if you want, I can walk. Legacy is me. Yeah, I know. Sometimes that's the one that is so hard to actually be able to put structure in place. What is replicable? What can people do when you're not in the room? And all that. And Dr. Tina is saying here that hers is number 9, which is execution. Execution framework, being able to translate some of the ideas we have in our minds into reality. Legacy, Tosin says legacy. Legacy, yes, being able to build things that are replicable, that can function whether or not you're in the room. Execution first and foremost. That's among me. Adebola says execution and legacy. Yes, being able to take that idea, that vision, and let it show up in what we are doing every single day, and then building it to the point where even when we are not in the room, someone can take our system and be able to use that framework. Joy says execution. Yes. A lot of people struggle. I find a lot of women go, the clarity, the top one that I've seen that are really the most common. We have the clarity, identity, clarity, execution, and legacy. They are usually the most common because that is like at the base of visionary work. You see people that want to do good stuff, but the identity framework is wrong. All of the above. Okay, now, all right. Oh, that's why we're here. That's the point of the work we're doing this year, is to identify the areas and say what is missing here and what can I do? How can I bridge that gap? Okay. So now get your pen, The diagnostic begins now, because your life is a living classroom. When we're in Greece, we're in Santorini, we're told that Greece, we're looking at Greece as a classroom. Your own life is also your living classroom. You have to study yourself. You have to be able to diagnose your own issues, all right? And the fracture point is not that you're failed. Oh, it's not about failure, all right? So don't think about that, oh, it's failure, it's failure. No, it's just the curriculum, it's information. It's giving you information and telling you these are the things that this season is trying to teach you. And you know that you haven't had that precise enough language to hear the lesson in the past until now. Okay, so I don't want you to think about it as failure. No, it's not failure. All right. And I need you to really examine that and say to yourself, scoring yourself from 1 to 5. One is really true. Okay, and five is always true. It's constant. Yeah, it's all the time. That's me. Maximum score here is 45. Okay, so if you're getting 50, then you are not in the same. You're not in the same one. This same diagnostic is on our website, at shiftinglegs.com/audit. But this is just like the shorter version of it. If you go to our website and you go to our audit page, the assessment page, you find that audit there. Then we have the online version of the audits. We also have the PDF download. That is such a great. That one is really good. You know, you do the online version. It gives you your results, and it also gives you when you once you sign up for it, it also gives you the PDF where you can sit with that PDF and have a whole retreat, a weekend retreat, just talking about it. Like, this is me, a journal. It has all that space in the PDF. All right. So, fraction point number one, identity. How true is this statement for you? And I want to see your numbers in the chat as we start the diagnostic. All right. My sense of who I am stays stable even when my results are disappointing or when I receive criticism from someone whose opinion matters to me. You know yourself. You know yourself, right? Like, I'm always stable. Even when people criticize me, even when I don't get results, I'm like, I'm just going. Like, I don't even care. Like, I'm just going. That will be 5 for you. And but you feel like, I struggle here. That will be 1 for you. All right. Great. Thank you for sharing that. Amazing. Amazing. 5. I see Mommy says 5. Dami says 5. Jubala says 5. Tosin says 5. Quinta says 5. I love it. I love that. I love that. I love that. Okay. Let's keep it coming. Keep it coming. If you haven't answered yours, I want to see yours in the comments before we go into the next one. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. F1 says 5. Elizabeth says 5. Quinta says 5. 5K. Meaning, even when you get criticized, you never shake. Even when you are wondering for me, but it's okay. You know, we're scaring ourselves. It's not a problem. When you go and take the true diagnostic on the website, we will know the true results. Because that one, you have no way you're hiding. It will give you the real one. Like you're never like, people just criticize me like, yeah, I'm just going like, I don't care. I'm just gonna keep going. I'm like Jesus Christ, I don't care. Crucify him, and just keep moving to the cross. All right. Number 2, fracture point 2. Okay. How true is this statement? I can tell you in one sentence, not a paragraph. One sentence, okay? The specific thing that I am called to do in this season, not generally, but specifically. I know this is what I'm called to do in this season, and I am here for it. I want to hear from you. Is this 5 or is this 1? You know, this year is what I'm called to do, and I'm on it. I'm on it. I love it. Yes. 5 doesn't say 3. Thank you for sharing that. I know I know. Like, in one sentence, this is what I'm called to do in this season, and I'm just here for it and all that. Yeah, exactly. Like, after we spend all that time and energy in the room, we gotta be able to know it. Jema says 3. After Santo, 5. I love it. Omomi says 3. F1 says, oh, 5. You went Santorini, my sister. He has to be 5. Ajoke says 3. In fact, in only 4 words. Exactly. Yeah. If you're not able to now articulate, you have to be like, my sister, what did we do in the room? I'm called to be in my soft girl era. I hear you loud and clear. Me too. Me too. Me too. But that softness, it requires some work. Okay. It requires some work. I'm my soft girl era people. But guess what? That soft life requires some work so that we can really be living the soft life, not soft life where you're like, hey, my life, my life, my life. All right. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Okay. So let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Next is how true is this statement? This is clarity fracture points. I can name my top three, not 15, not 50. Okay? Okay? I can name my top three priorities for this quarter. All right, this April, May, June. I know what my top priorities are without hesitating. I want them. Hold on, we're not finished. We haven't finished. When I look at my schedule, my calendar is reflecting those three things. Okay. Not just that I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but my calendar doesn't reflect it like normal. We go back and re-engineer your answer. Okay. Backtrack. Okay. It is, I know it's my top priority. It should be, top three things I'm doing in this quarter. Do we see it on your schedule, ma'am? Does your day show that that's what you're working on? Do we see it prioritized on your schedule? Does your schedule reflect the things that you say? Okay. Yeah, so what's call yourself? We know that the calendar is in the works. We've received the schedule. Ma. Is it on your schedule? Do we see it on your calendar? Oh, yes, because remember, clarity is around not just knowing what to do, but how you're going to move forward with it. Remember that. Okay. We got to see it on your schedule, ma'ams. Ma'ams. We need to see them on your schedule. Every time I forgive myself grace. I hear you. Exactly. That calendar is the most important part of this conversation. Because if it's not on your schedule, if it's not on your calendar, then ma'am, you're wrong. Okay. The next one is how true is this statement? The systems, this capacity one. Okay. The systems, the team, the structures that I have currently are adequate to carry the vision that I'm building toward. Not the one I had 2 years ago, the one that I'm building toward. The systems I have right now, the team I have right now, my structure right now can adequately carry my vision, the one I'm building toward, not the one that I had 2 years ago. The one I have right now. Let us call ourselves. Canada is still work in progress. Next week I'll say 5. Good for you. That's the point of this. To know where the gaps are so that we can fix it. I like this one. 0, 1, 2. Because capacity is a big deal in the life of a woman. Yes, it's a big deal. And a lot of people struggle here. So you're not alone, okay? You're not alone. A lot of us, we have the great ideas. It's even on our schedule. We're even trying our best. But the system you have now, the team you have now, the structure you have now, they cannot carry this current vision that you have. Is maybe the old one that you had before. It was fine. You had enough. You were solo. You were soloing it. And you were fine. You need systems and a tight structure. Yes, ma'am. I agree with you. That's where a lot of us struggle. That's what we struggle, and that's one of the things we're doing with the shift intensive that we're starting off in the next few days, about a week ish, thereabout. It'll be just a bit over a week. On the 4th of May, the shift intensive is going to give you that 12-month roadmap. Depending on what fracture point is yours, we'll have a roadmap to get you to where you need to go. All right. So, you scored yourself, please. Thank you for Thank you for that score. How true is this statement? Okay. I rarely take on responsibilities that belong to other people. People pleaser, left the group chat. Okay. I rarely take on all responsibilities that belong to other people. And I consistently protect my energy for what is actually mine to carry. I only do my thing. I'm not saying you're selfish. But we are saying that the things that matter to you, the one that is your own lane, your own assignment, whatever that looks like, you are making room for it. So if you rarely take on responsibility that is not your own, if you are always taking it on, you are one. If you really take it on, you're five. Okay? All right? Yes, ma'am. I hear you. I need deliverance. 0.5. Because you always carry other people's matters on your head, and the one that is yours, you're not minding your own business. Okay? People of God. People of God. I know the struggle is real. You don't make room for yourself. You don't make room for what is yours. You don't make room for what you have been assigned. Your own assignment is struggling because you're busy carrying other people's responsibilities. Okay? Next, relationships. How true is this statement? The people closest to me with the most access to my time, my thinking, and my energy consistently, let us note that word, consistently align with, and they add to. Okay, they align with, not just aligning with, they're my support, but do they add to the assignment that I am building? Because, see, remember that the underlying phrase there is with the most access to my time, thinking, and energy. We're not saying your friends that, those friends that you just know. We are saying that the people that you're giving your time to, your thinking to, your energy to, those people consistently align with and they add to the assignment that you are building. So if you look at your circle of people that are closest to your time, closest to your thinking, closest to your energy, and they are not adding value to your assignment, they are not aligning with the assignment, they are not even helping you in any way, they're not supporting you, but they are very happy to drain your energy. They are not energy replenishers, okay? They are not. You have to check. Ah, yeah. Mm. Thank you for all of your 444 and 3 and 4 and 2.5 and 3. Yes, that's why we are here. It's what we are making the diagnosis because we need to know. We need to go back and say, ha, ha, ha. How do I create that boundary in my relationships? So I'm not giving my best time, my best thinking, my best energy to the people that are not aligning with my assignment. All right? How true is this one? This is the healing one. And I want you to think about this one very deeply. Don't jump to give an answer. Think about it well. Think about it well. Because this is an ongoing conversation. All right. There will be times in your life where you deal with something and then something else happens again. All right. Someone disappoints you again. Last year you thought, oh, it's going to be an epic year. You put all your work, all your effort into nothing came out of it. You didn't see the result you were looking for. You moved country, you moved houses, you lost your friend circle. They no longer want to talk to you. They don't want to sit with you. They don't want to be with you. How true is this statement? I'm not currently being held back by unprocessed pain, unresolved disappointments, or emotional residue from a previous season I never fully moved through. So you have unprocessed pain, unresolved disappointment, emotional residue from a previous season you've not dealt with them well enough. That would be a 1 and a 2-ish, right? But if you're not currently being held back, like, you know, I've done all these things, I have no things that I'm like, God, why? Like, I feel disappointed here, I feel hurt in this area, I'm angry here, I have unresolved issues here. If that is you, I'm no longer being held back, is the key word, exactly. It's not stopping you from moving forward, right? Or you're moving forward without processing them because you could be going. But did you resolve them? Did you process the pain? Did you process the emotions that came with that thing? Did you resolve the disappointment? Did you say, well, this happened, but Lord, yeah, thank you for healing my heart? Did you walk through that? Right? Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I see that a lot of people are not saying, okay, what if you're on here and you don't know? You will know because there's a thing that happened that you haven't dealt with. Yeah, I agree with you. You have to sit back and say, is there something here? Do you know how you would know? Are you unnecessarily triggered Someone says something, and instead of it was just a statement. And then the way you are just like, we have to check. There's an unhealed part of you that is triggered by those kinds of things. You see things that make you remember something that happened. You find yourself second guessing when you want to make a decision because you're like, the last time I tried, it didn't work. So why am I even trying? You haven't dealt with it. There's something that they haven't dealt. There's still an unprocessed disappointment that you haven't walked through. All right. 8, legacy. If it no longer carries this thing, exactly. That's it. Thank you for sharing that, Efwa. Many of us need the healing lab. Absolutely. The healing lab is starting off in the month of June. We need it. We need it. All of us. All of us need to be in the healing lab, one way or the other. Because there are things that will be ongoing. Some things are in the past, you resolve them. Another thing happens again, you have to deal with it. It's ongoing. Ongoing healing. How true is this statement for you? Legacy, right? Talking about legacy now. The decisions that I'm making today, think about it very well. Okay? What I'm saying yes and no to right now are clearly connected to the impact I want to still be making in 10 years. Meaning, when I wake up every day, what I say yes to, what I say no to, is directly connected to the way that I want my life to feel like in 10 years. Like the things that I'm saying yes to, that I'm saying no to, I'm like, no, doesn't look like where I'm going. That job opportunity that, oh, they pay well, but it doesn't look like where I'm going. That scholarship, it looks good, but it's not where I'm going. Right? The ones I'm saying yes to. This doesn't look as glamorous, but I have to say yes to this work today because it looks like where I'm going in the future. So if your work is directly connected, the things that you're saying yes to today and saying no to today, you can see the clear connection to that impact that you want to be making in 10 years. Oh, yeah, you are on a 5, you are on a 4. But if it's not, if you're like, I'm not even sure, I'm not even sure, I don't know, I don't even know, then you're a 1 or 8, maybe a 3, depending on how serious it is. Yeah. And I love the 5s, I love the 3s, I love the 4.5s, I love the 2s and the 1s if you have them. Why? Because the point of this is not to make you feel bad, it is for you to see, if this is not happening, what can I do differently? Yes. And Joke says she forgot about fitness before she said yes to that response. Okay. If it doesn't look like what you want, that's the point of this exercise, for you to start to check, and all that. All right. And then the last one, execution. How true is this statement? I have a clear, okay, let us hear the words. Clear working system that takes my vision, not just the idea of it. It takes my actual vision and translates it into consistent, not I did it in January. And after January, I don't remember when last I did it. Okay. You have a clear working system that takes your vision, the actual vision, and translates it into consistent weekly actions. Do you find that to be true for yourself? I like the hmms because I'm just saying, hmm, hmm. I like the hmms because they are heavy, all right? Okay. It's attacking you, it's coming for you. Yeah, I know. It's dragging you by the wig or by the braids, depending on what you have on right now. 1.5 or 2, thank you for sharing that. Because the point of this, remember, is to take a look and say, I need help here. I definitely need help here. Your edges are dragged. Yeah. 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 Because I don't see weekly consistent actions in the things that I say matter to me. My vision, where I'm going, I don't see it. I don't see that consistency. How can the coach to help you the vision answer this? Yes, ma'am. That's exactly what it is. If you walk with a coach, have a coach. You've seen your blind, but they're like, I need help here. So you join the shift intensive because the shift intensive is here to help you see that thing clearly, give you the roadmap you need to actually get it started. It's 4 weeks. It's happening in the month of May, and we're here for you. All right? If you haven't signed up for Shift Intensive, this is your cue to sign up because you can see clearly, Maz, that there are places where we need to take action. All right? Okay, here we go. What is your total? I hope you were taking note of your scores. All right? What's your total? Let us see your total in the charts. If it's 36 to 45, high precision. This woman is on fire. She's going here. She's moving through. Right? Maybe you have just one or two specific, you know, structure points that you need to address. It's not that serious and all of that and everything. You have a solid foundation, but you have a few things here and there. And of course, you need to still work on it. Nobody's perfect. We're working on it. That's the 6 to 45. I want to see your total overall in the charts. If you are on 27 to 35, real clarity in some areas, but significant structural gaps in other areas, 2 or 3 fraction points actively costing you, on all those things, that will be you, 27 to 35. And then 18 to 26 means you have multiple fracture points running simultaneously. You have several gaps, several areas you need to fill, things that you need to work on, and all of that. Oh, you're still producing good stuff, in spite of all these things. But, 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 you see, you have all these things that are still there to fix. All right? And if you are below 18, the foundation needs work before the building goes any higher. If you don't stop, this one is when you say stop, stop, emergency, stop, emergency. This is below 18. Because you have to actually pause and say, guys, I need help here. I cannot continue building if I have all these multiple fracture points. If I'm struggling through all these things, then that will be me. So I'm going to kind of see if I can help you. Execution, what was your score? Legacy, what was your score? Healing, what was your score? Relationships, what was your score? Boundaries, what was your score? Capacity, what was your score? And clarity, what was your score? Assignment, what was your score? And first one was identity, what was your score? Okay, 37, 23, 28. Where do you fall? I'm going to go back to that. Let's go back there. These are the numbers. Where do you fall? So 27, you have real clarity in some areas, but you have significant structural gaps in other areas. You have a few fracture points that are actively costing you, and you need to fix them. If you were above 30, so I see people above 37, high precision, one or two. You actually have a few places you need to work on, but you're getting there because you have the right foundation, especially across the things that matter. And then 18 to 26, you have multiple fracture points. You have to actually take a pause, and you're not in critical alert. When your engine starts saying engine check. That's where you are right now. You're in engine check. You have to actually take a pause and just take a look at a few things. But if you're below 18, you're in critical. You have to actually stop building. And then say, this is critical. We need to fix this, or the car is going to knock. The engine is going to knock. All right? Thank you for everybody for sharing your scores. And you've seen which part on this graph you fall. You know where you should make adjustments. You know the areas. And if I were to ask you, which ones were like one or two of your top fracture points, what would you say? And if now you know what they are. What are your top 2 fracture points? I want to see them in the chat. And before we talk about what this means, it's not just enough for us to, it's information, it's information that we've had, but if we just get the information and we don't do anything about it, it's just what it is, information, and nothing's going to shift. We'll be back here another 1 month, another 2 months, another 3 months, another 1 year, and nothing would have shifted. It will still be the same fracture points year in, year out, right? So if you were to name your primary fracture point, I want to see them in the charts. Because that's where you have your lowest score, or your if you maybe your top three, where you have your lowest scores. That's where you're going to have to start from. All right, you're starting from there. Name your primary fracture points, which is your lowest score. We're starting from there, and then start to name what has it been costing you specifically. What has your fracture point cost you? Because sometimes we don't realize how much work we need to do if we're not paying attention to what our fracture point is costing us. Okay, like it's costing you a lot. But if you're not paying attention to what it's costing you, and you don't realize, oh, I have this dream that I've had in my journal for the past 10 years, nothing has happened. I haven't done anything with it. There was an opportunity that came my way. I just couldn't. When they said, oh, submit us your profile, I didn't have it put together. I can't hire a new person because, well, I don't even know what I'm doing. How do I bring somebody into this chaos? I don't even know how to delegate to them when they come because, well, I don't have framework, nothing. What am I going to show them? You can tell what it's costing you. You know what your lack of clarity is costing you, lack of capacity is costing you, lack of healing is costing you, right? You definitely need to retreat to those questions. If you get the audit, the on the website, shiftingtolegacy.com/audit. If you go there, you're going to find it. And the links have been dropped in the chat, throughout the session. You are going to find that PDF. You sit with it, you look at it. You have to know, what is it costing me? And what is it costing me? You have to be specific. In the last 90 days, what opportunities have I missed because I didn't have clarity. I didn't have capacity. I'm not building for legacy. Everything still revolves around me. I feel unhealed in certain areas of my life. I feel myself lashing out at my family. My children are afraid of me because I'm unhealed and I haven't dealt with my fracture points in that area. What is it costing you? And then start with your first move. So fracture points, name it. What is it costing me? I know, costing you peaceful holidays and undisturbed Sabbath. I agree with you. Because if everything still revolves around you and there's no structure for people to carry the vision with you and all of that, you're going to be stressed. You can't take a good break because the work is going to stop if you do take a break and all of that. What is it costing you? Your execution and capacity. Oh, thank you for sharing that. What is it costing you? What is it stopping you from been able to harness an opportunity you missed, something that is happening that you could have started off, a book you're supposed to have written, but it's still sitting on your to-do list for the past 5 years and all of that. And then what's your first move? What are you going to start doing? What are you going to start doing? Are you going to hire someone? Do you need to go back and create framework around your work? Do you need to go and start creating standard operating procedures so that you can share with other people? People can actually help you when they want to help you. Someone say, can I help you? Like, I don't even know what they should help me with. Because you haven't taken time to look at your structure. And it's costing you, I like what you said, execution and capacity are costing you impact I should be making and depriving your world of what you carry. That is such a profound one because when you think about the parable of the steward in the Bible, why was the steward, uh, you know, of the parable of the 10 talents? Why was that steward told to go into utter darkness? Because he didn't multiply his talents. And I just think about that thing, just puts the fear of God in me every single time. It wasn't because he stole something or he murdered anybody. Because he did not use his talent well. He didn't use his talent well. So what are you going to do differently? Knowing what you now know, knowing what the fracture points are, what are you going to do differently from today? What is going to change on your schedule? What is going to shift in your relationships? What is going to shift in building capacity for you? What coach are you going to be working with? What course are you going to sign up for? What program are you going to go back to school to take? Because you can see that your capacity cannot carry the vision that you have ahead of you. It's not going to carry that vision that you have ahead of you. You can see that. So what are you going to do differently? Now you told us the impact. You've told us the fracture points. What is going to shift for you? I want to hear that. Because living here without an action plan is not the plan of these masterclasses. The point of me dedicating the time and the energy to preparing for the masterclass, so showing up here, teaching this thing, is because I'm praying and I'm hoping that by this time next month, when we come again for another masterclass on the 27th of May, we'll be able to say, wow, in the time between last masterclass and now, I've started to do this thing. That's what I want to hear. I want to see that you started to do something differently because of what you heard today, right? So let's see that. What are you going to do differently based on what you heard today? What is your one first move? If anybody wants to share, I'm happy to take a few people who want to share one thing you want to start doing. If you want to mute, let me know. You can raise your hand. You can put in the chat, whatever it is. We can look at them together. What is going to change for you as you move out of this master class? We're not going to come next month and you're going to say, well, well. No, we don't want to hear that. We want to see that something has shifted in your life, right? That's what we want to hear, okay? Because your fracture point doesn't have any power over what you name. It only has power over what you refuse to look at. If you can't, I mean, this thing that it's a problem, yeah. You have a fracture point, so it's not a big deal. It's only when you don't take action, you don't make any changes to your life, that's when something is wrong. You're going to be changing your company intentionally. I hear you on that. I hear you on that. Whatever you need to do. Doesn't even mean that you stop being friends with people. It just means you now know where they stand in your life. You can recategorize them based on how they are aligning with or adding value to your assignment here on earth. That's it. Susan says she's structuring her calendar to support her immediate goals. Yes, ma'am. We got to do that. We have to see that in action. That needs to happen. My calendar will reflect my vision. Yes, ma'am. It has to. It has to. It has to. We need to give room for the things that truly matter to us. All right. So the things from ancient Greece that survived millennia were not the most impressive things. If you go to Santorini, you'll be like, okay, this is what we came for. Some of the streets, I'm like, interesting. In their narrow alleyways and everything. But you're going to see all the designer stores there. They are there. In the alleyway store, that looks like, if you're from Nigeria, you know what I'm talking about. That looks like Balogun Market in Lagos, Nigeria. Okay? But guess what? They are there. Those things that were constructed precisely for the side of the roads, the edge of the cliff of buildings. They were constructed for that purpose. And they're still standing today. People are spending thousands of dollars to travel to Santorini because it's standing test of time. What is going to survive in your own life? What are you precisely constructing now that is going to speak in the future when it comes into your life? Quinta says, my calendar will 100% reflect my 3 priorities in this season before May 1st. I love it. First move is to define my top 3 goals for the quarter so that I can structure my calendar, build my systems to sustain the goal. Top thing is to say what's my vision for the year. And based on that vision, what are my goals for the quarter that will move me closer to the vision? And then what am I going to do to structure my calendar and build my systems to sustain that goal? Calendar and system for me as well. A lot of people are struggling in that area. That is why you should not even be negotiating with yourself and your future and you need to be in shift intensive. Basically, let's not even play. Okay, you should be in the shift intensive. We're starting on the 4th of May. You should be there. Okay, let's not even talk too much. All right, your fracture point is not your ceiling, it's your curriculum. Do you know what that means? It means it has given you information. You study it. You study the curriculum. You look at it. You learn from it. You let it shape your thinking. You let it shape your life. Right? You let it shape everything you're doing. Your fracture point is not your ceiling. It is your curriculum. Study it. Don't just say, well, I have the fracture point, so, and you just let it go. No. You have to examine it more. I would actually advise you to download that fracture audits PDF. Sit with it. Give yourself time. Like give yourself one block of 1 hour to 2 hours and just sit there and just journal. Think about it. Give yourself the gift of your own time. I mean, if you can't give ourselves 1 hour, 2 hours, there's a problem. And that's why you should be in the shift intensive. If you can't find 1 hour, 2 hours to take. So give yourself time to actually be looking at what you should be doing. Yeah, you need to be in the room. All right? Okay, so 2 ways to go deeper with us. Number 1, and you're going to see the links in the charts. I mean, they've been in the charts all along, but you can even scan the QR code on the screen. Number one is, I'm talking about it the whole day, basically, the Shift Diagnostic Audit. It's a free tool on our website. It helps you. It took us a lot of time, energy, everything to create this framework for you, but you need it. All right. I need you to download that audit. It helps you to go deeper on all these 9 fracture points we just glossed over. We didn't really take too much time to work on that. Look at them, right? It's free, it's there. It's you can scan the QR code, you can um go to our website, you're gonna find all of that there. Get that download. And then the shift intensive. In 4 weeks, I am going to be there live teaching, helping you, hand holding you, and you're going to come out with your full 12-month roadmap. All right. And this is for that woman who's done diagnosing and ready to build. We diagnose, oh, I know what is going on. I know what is happening. I know what I should be doing. You are going to have to take that fracture point, build your precise roadmap for the next 12 months. Because the excuses you've given yourself are enough. You've been giving the excuses to yourself for the past how long now? How many years have you been giving yourself an excuse? Oh, I will do it later. Oh, I should have done this year. This is the year I should have done this. And we're going to be looking at that for you, in the shift intensive. You're going to create that 12-month roadmap for yourself in the next, in 4 weeks. In 4 weeks, we're going to have all of that great stuff happen. All right. So if this has been great for you, I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I want to hear that this has been good for you. Let me know that my time was worth the while. I want to know your one takeaway from today's session because we're rounding up now. Remember, 90 minutes. We said 90 minutes. We are rounding up, in the next few minutes. In the next few minutes, I want to hear from you. What is your number one takeaway from this session today? What is your number one takeaway? Not action plan per se, but what is something that really resonated with you that you are like, wow, yes, ma'am, it was worth your time. I love it. Been amazing. Thank you for sharing that. What is your thoughts? What is your predominant thoughts right now as you're moving out of this room? And something that has shaped your mind for today. For me, I thought this, but my own is just when I think of Aristotle and Socrates, people of God, I want to be Aristotle. I want to build architecture around my framework so that when I'm long gone, generations yet unborn will be able to use my frameworks, will be able to refer to my name, refer to my resources, refer to the things that I've built, and they continue to speak for me. Takeaway for me is my fracture point is my curriculum. I want to be Aristotle. That's my own takeaway from here. I want to be the woman whose architecture stands the test of time. Who is not just about, oh, what we've done now, today, and it ends here and now. No, that is not us. Because we want to be the kinds of people who build for posterity. I want people that have never ever met me, that will never, I mean, that's already happening. I already have, resources that have reached 205 countries. Yeah, it's already happening. But I'm saying even when I'm long gone, when I'm longer on the earth, my work, my framework, my architectural structure around my work still continues to resonate. Ajake says, what is my fracture point costing me? Yeah, that's something that we have to really, really think about. We cannot just say, oh, it's a fracture point, okay, bye-bye, see you later. No. What has it been costing me? What is that? What has it stopped me from being able to do, in the last 1 year? And what is going to shift for me this year? Alrighty. Thank you. Even though I have sleepy eyes as well, I know. New mommy, I know, new mommy era. I understand that. Yeah, it was worth the time, gave me another perspective of fracture. My specificity is my strength. That was loud for me. It helps me to curate my path. Yeah, thank you so much too for coming. Thank you for attending. And we will see you next month for session 2 of and the theme is misdiagnosed. Wednesday, May 27, 2026, 12 noon Mountain Time. At the same time, of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel, getting on LinkedIn newsletter, register for the next session because we want to see you in the room. All right, I'm going to hand you back now to Marie Chris as she takes us to the end of this as we round it up. Thank you for coming in. We cannot hear you, ma'am. Don't know if you realize that, but we cannot hear you.
All right. Sorry about that. Thank you, Coach Alicia, for a wonderful word. And that was really incredibly powerful. And now you have, guys, everything, something most women don't. You have the clarity. And the question is that what you're going to do with that. And we would love to share a video before we close this off. Let me just play this one. All right. So thank you so much. And there are two ways, again, you can move forward from here. So the first is to take the free diagnostic audit, go deeper, understand your full profile, and get more clarity. And if today confirm for you that you're already ready to actually build, not just diagnose, then the shift intensive is your next step. So we may start May 4 and enrollment is closing in April 25. So this is not something to sit on. So if you feel seen today and if something is clicked for you, don't leave it awareness. Take the next step while it's clear. So the replay again will be on our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. And the shift live happens every fourth Wednesday of the month. We'll see you again next month. And thank you again for showing up on yourself today. That what matters most than you think. And until then, you all good to do work. Thank you so much. Thank you, Coach Alicia. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody, for coming in. We will see you next month, either in the shift intensive, or we'll see you on the masterclass. All right, everybody,
Yeah.
take care.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
your day. Bye,
Bye bye.
everyone. Take care. Bye bye. Bye, everybody. Hi, everyone.